So here is my Dieffenbacia, and it's actually a Dieffenbacia camouflage. It was actually very beautiful. If I have a picture, I'll insert it now. But I got this Dieffenbacia on clearance. I think I may have paid $5 or $10 for it. I'm not quite sure. It's been almost a year now, and it's gotten progressively worse. What I did, and probably shouldn't have done, is I kept it in a container. And this is a 1-gallon pot. And all I did was add pebbles to it. It did have something like fungus gnats, and I didn't really address that fully. What I did do is treat it with some insecticidal soap, but I still left it in the same soil. So now I barely have a plant. So we're going to try to save what's left. Okay, so here is the Dieffenbacia camouflage now that I've pulled it out of the soil, and I really didn't have to do a whole lot. So I'm assuming that potentially there are fungus gnats in the soil that have been eating the roots or had ate the roots. Maybe they're not actively there now, but they had done a lot of damage. But I'm going to go ahead and spray the whole roots with some peroxide to get rid of any fungus or anything that may be lingering. I'm going to trim off all of this dead foliage here so that I can get ready to replant it in another container that's much smaller. What I'm going to do differently this time around is I'm going to add a lot of perlite to the soil mix that I utilize. And I'm going to water it frequently, but making sure that it dries out in between. What I've been doing is I've only watered it maybe once a month, which is probably a little bit less than what a Dieffenbacia likes. So I'm going to water it a little bit more, but making sure that the soil medium that I use allows for it to dry and dry well, and then it can get more frequent waterings. And I'm going to put it in a brighter location where it can get a little bit more sunshine, but just not enough where it would burn. So here is my 100% homemade soilless mix, which has a main component of cocoa coir, and I utilize a lot of natural resources. So stay tuned, I'll do another video in regards to the actual soil. I tweak it based upon the species of plant, but basically the basics is the same, and I just may add a little bit more perlite, a little bit less perlite, and a few other ingredients depending on the type of plant. I'm going to utilize a recycled container, and I also have a video on that because I want to see the growth, if there is any growth. So I have pre-drilled some holes in the bottom, and I cut the top of this jug off, and we're going to go ahead and add our soil and our plant. And the plant has been cleansed in some peroxide, and it literally was not much as far as roots go, so it has a lot of growth to do. So hopefully this new mix will help it out a lot, and hopefully we'll see some extra growth in there soon. So let's go ahead and pot it up. I don't want to put it too high up, so I'm trying to do this with one hand because I don't know where my tripod went. Okay, so I think that's about right. So now we're going to make a little bit of a hole in there. We're going to place our Dieffenbacia in here out of the water, out of the peroxide water, and I'm going to try to position it. I'll come right back once I get it in here. So this is the Dieffenbacia camouflage now in its new home and new container. And I put on top of there some of my homemade compost. I make compost from my garden and I sterilize it, and then I utilize it for my indoor plants. In addition to my homemade compost, I actually added some worm castings, so it's going to give it a little bit of a light nourishment for a while, and we're going to keep an eye on it, and hopefully it will recover and put out a whole lot of growth. The Dieffenbacia now in its home until the weather warms, and then I'm going to stick it outside where we can get a lot of humidity and a little bit of shade. And so we're going to see if we can revive it back. It's in a nice medium of soil, so I'm very excited and happy about that. And Yeah, it looks pretty bad now, but hey, it's still green. There's still some life in it, and we're gonna root for this one to make it and thrive. So I will be sure to give an update. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I appreciate your viewership. If you're not a subscriber, I hope you do consider subscribing. And if you do, be sure to hit that bell notification, and that way you'll be notified of the newest videos when they're released. Until the next video, have a wonderful day.